for Insight in Cyprus. Insight is a worldwide organization, and it provides educational training for individuals or for companies to inspire them to live them an outstanding life, an extraordinary life. And the way it's done is by increasing the awareness, the loving, and the self-accountability. And tonight, I have with me a special guest, Dale Kitchell. Dale is now joining us from home, from North Carolina in USA. Hi, Dale.
Hello.
And Dale is experiencing, like most of us, a government mandated stay-at-home order. And he will tell us a little bit more about his experience afterward. So Dale is bring his unique Australian perspective, maybe you'll catch the accent, and education, and he combined with his world travel and experience to his learning approach. And he has a very natural, organic, and easy ability to connect, engage, and facilitate people in diverse cultures and ages, both professionally and in their personal lives. And as a facilitator, coach, and trainer, Dale's expansive skills support individuals, groups, and businesses to identify, achieve, and sustain transformational change. And Dale is also a lead facilitator with Insight seminars. So tonight, Dale, we will be talking about owning your choice in this uncertainty time. And our focus will be to have a look about how we can take ownership about our choice in order this choice to support us and empower us for this time coming, this uncertainty time. What choice we can make from now. So thank you, Dale, for joining us tonight. Is there anything you'd like to tell us about yourself?
No, I'm just very happy to be here, and I hope that our time together tonight or this afternoon here in Greensboro, North Carolina, is of value to us all as we walk through these days and months and weeks and these times that are quickly changing. So I thank you for making this happen, and it's my pleasure to be here.
Thank you, Dale. So we are now, starting to look at the phase that is coming after this lockdown, and we don't know actually what's going to happen after. And so, what kind of habits and lifestyle could we use today to take now, so that this support us and empower us for afterwards?
Well, let's just take a pause on that question first and just move into a reality check of what's going on. Like you and your part of the world, and I'm assuming that there's many people throughout the world here, that we are also in a stay-at-home lockdown with enormous restrictions placed on us. And these are interesting and trying times for us. And I think somewhere along the line, there's a moment for us to all just pause. Pause and just breathe in the moment of stillness so that we can move back into what we actually refer to in Insight a lot as that loving heart, that place of stillness, that place of just naturally knowing what's going on. And I don't know about you all listening in here, but often taking a moment to just pause and reflect is something that can be at times challenging because we make up all the excuses. So I would start today off in talking about the choice of how we best support ourselves, the best choices that we make that can empower us. And so I was thinking about coming on today, and I was thinking back to when I was a younger fella. And, I used to live in Sydney, Australia on the beaches, and surfing was one of my joys in life. And so I was thinking about a guy or a lady or a surfer on a surfboard going out on the waves today. And just imagine and picture the waves are coming in. It's a beautiful day. Everything is just lining up perfectly. Then all of a sudden, that wave comes and knocks you off your board. That wave comes from nowhere and throws you out. That wave comes and pushes you underwater. Wow. Were you expecting that? Not really. Did it happen? Sure. And I think we can all relate to, even if it's just paddling in the ocean where that wave comes and knocks you off. And so I was thinking about that and using it along with what we're experiencing now. So life is going along. We've got all these things. Our life seems happy and together. Then all of a sudden, bam, this situation comes in and throws us. So for me, as I was thinking about today and how to set it up and then answer some of the questions that y'all got for me, is what do we do with what's going on? You know, we have to just pause and take, this is what's happening. And so we can either be totally struggling with what's going on, or we can move into a place of acceptance. Acceptance, what an interesting word that is in these challenging times. How can acceptance be there if you can't go outside? How can acceptance be there if you're only allowed one pint of milk every couple of days? How can acceptance be there when your children want to go outside in the fresh air? Well, for me, that's owning the choices that I make. How can I move into greater acceptance, move into that place of, this is what's going on, then I get to make the choice. By making the acceptance, by moving into a place of acceptance for me and my wife too, we find that then we own the choices that we make. We're not giving ourselves and our energy and our life force and our power over to this virus, to this restriction, to this that's creating havoc in our life. Because with all that's going on there, there's still a lot that we can look at over here to be grateful for. We're still breathing. We're still in a place of got a roof over our heads. Now, could that all change like that wave coming in? Of course, and it has. And we can't look and spend our energies and time, from my perspective, looking towards what may or may not happen, but to make wise choices and ownership of those choices that can support us moving forward. So that's where I'm coming from today, and that's where I was like thinking about the importance of our time together. And we have to use a huge level of common sense and a huge level of being prepared. That part of us we need to take dominion of, control of. But then what's going on inside? Do you want to give your life energy over to something, or do you want to just take the ownership and say, well, what's next? This is what I've been dealt. What's next? Not to negate anything that's being created by this virus out there and the byproducts of what's that creating. Uncertainty in jobs, uncertainty in banks, uncertainty in borders, uncertainty, and the list just goes on. We can't control that right now. What we can look at and take dominion of or control of is those choices that empower us in this moment during these uncertain times. So I just wanted to start off saying that, Clementine, so that we can, get the ball rolling and see what shows up from this wonderful group that you've pulled together on this call. So, any questions?
Yeah, I'll ask you some questions, but before I start, I want to just remind our audience that they can ask you conversation also. They ask you questions, also, because this is a conversation. It's not just a monologue. So please ask question in the chat box, and I will ask the question to Dale, and then you can get some answers for yourself.
That's awesome. Yeah, let's make it a conversation. Let's make it like we're all sitting in 6 feet apart, 2 meters apart, having a conversation.
Yes. So you've been talking now a lot of things, like you've been talking about acceptance, and you've been talking also about the lockdown and the choices we can make. So I know now in Bulgaria the parliament votes that they will be locked down until the 13th of May. Wow. Here it's until the 13th of April. So it's still there. This 13th of April, we're expecting more. But so this lockdown is like very long, and it's more than a month. And I read that it takes 33 days to create new habits. Right. So how can we positively use this time? What can we do? Is there any tips you can give us?
Oh, you know, God bless you, Bulgaria, for the extended time there. That's a country in this city of Sofia that I really love. As you introduced me, I am Australian, and my sister back in Sydney, Australia, going through very similar things where school is cancelled and the lockdown is expanded. The same is rippling through here. What we need to, my tips, and these are only Dale tips, you do with them what you like, and I know that it's helping me through this time, is to not focus, let me say it another way, to bring it in to myself, because all that's going on out here, all that's happening, and I can't change that. I can be grumpy or pissed off that the lockdown gets extended, but how's that going to serve me? It's not. It's going to make me more angry. And my role for me to support me is to do things that lift me up. So what could that be? How can I get through this time and use these 33 days? Because 33 days is a statistical a piece of information that we can create new habits. For those of you who do any personal inner work, this is a great time to just set that up. And what are you grateful for? What are the things in your life that just make your heart sing? What are those aspects in your world, regardless of whether you're inside or outside, that spark that joy inside you? Look at that. Create a list. Reflect on that. That's a real simple way. And again, if you come back to when we first started off and our call here, that's a pause moment. That's a breathe moment. We could be bombed. Oh, here's one that just came. Turn off the news. Turn off and stop reading all the blah, blah, blah about it. That's not to say that you should avoid being informed, but we tend to get overwhelmed by this plethora of information and negativity and darkness and stories that can really hook into us and drag us down. I don't know about you, but I catch myself when I'm being dragged down. Sometimes I got to get really low to catch myself, and sometimes it's in the moment. So the tips that we look at, there's many of them. For those of you who perhaps work with an affirmation, a mantra, or something, create one of support for yourself at this time. Create something that will uplift you. I was reading the other day, Clementine, that somebody wrote, if you can't go outside, go inside.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, wow, I wish I had thought of that. If you can't go outside, go inside. And for many of us who are walking this path, to take that time to pause and to go inward and look at what's going on versus outward and getting spun and upset. I'm sitting at my desk in my office here, and let me just show you this. So this is my wife left this on my desk. Let's put the fun back in dysfunctional. You know, it's a fun little folder. And then what she's created for herself is her daily questions. So she's written out a number of daily questions that help her stay focused, stay present, stay in her loving. And so what am I grateful for today? Who am I connecting in on or with today? What expectations of normal am I letting go of? We're hanging on to the way things were, not knowing where they're going to be or go to. So, what can we let go of so that we can be more present in the moment? How am I getting outside? How am I moving my body today? Because it's way easy to sit on the couch at this time watching wall-to-wall TV, eating every potato crisp and candy in the world, and that's not going to support us. So, you know, create yourself a list, a little checklist of things that will lift you and inspire you.
I have Emma Angelova that asking, with all this sitting at home and sleeping, I got totally lazy. How can we escape from this laziness? It's awful and I want to be more productive.
So the answer to that is really simple, and don't slap me for this. Do something different. Do something different. And now let's talk about that, because it is easy to sit around, Emma. We know that. We've all experienced that. And whether we do it as our normal part of life or whether we're doing it through these challenging and uncertain times. So create something that will support you. How about, you know, I'm going to put on one piece of music and I'm going to, you know, dance in front of the mirror with it. Now, may sound silly, but I'm going to tell you, it's going to shake up the energy and it's going to put a smile on your face. The languaging is very interesting. That, you know, when we want to escape, it sounds like we're shackling ourselves in, and then there's that part of us that like goes, "Oh, I want to escape." Again, that's part of what we're creating in our fear patterns, in our thoughts. And what if you could look outside and do bird watching for 10 minutes or half an hour? What if you could go online and share some kindness with somebody? What if you were to knock on the neighbor's door just to make sure they're okay, or put a note under their door to make sure they're okay? We have to empower ourselves to make choices so that we can move into a greater place of upliftment, support for ourselves, instead of this spiraling down. Does that help?
Yes, that's great. So I have another question. I and my family, we're feeling a little bit like control and restricted at the moment. You know, like, I don't know how it is in USA, but every time in Cyprus we have to go out, we have to send a message, we have to wait for the approval, and we have a very restricting amount of time to go out, and we can go out only once a day. And you know, with children it's very restricted. And my question is, how can I you know, make choices in this situation that will go with my vision, you know, with my values? What kind of awarenesses do I need to establish, to create and to practice in order to stay connected to my values?
Well, you know, identify what your values are. What are your
Freedom.
values? What is your vision? You know, uh, is the vision for now, or is the vision for, you know, 1 year, 2 days, 3 weeks? The restrictions that you're talking about in that question are very, very restrictive. You know, to get approval to go outside, you know, when I listened to that question, I felt like I was little Dale back when I was a kid, and I'm asking mom or dad if I can go outside and play with Billy Houghton. You know, you know, we're adults now. We're not used to that level of restriction. But that level of restriction, from where I sit, has put a perspective. It is in support of us. It's in support of us to try to see how we walk through these uncertain times. You know, to flatten the curve, or to do what's necessary as people to support, you know, this virus spreading more. What I look at for myself is, this is not going to go on forever. Can I surrender the control that I'm feeling? Can I surrender the restrictions? Can I give up that which is annoying me and then move into something different? There's I have there's a saying that Ron Holnick, Dr. Ron Holnick from the University of Santa Monica in California, a great institution of learning. And his line when I was doing his 2-year program, the way you deal with the issue is the issue. The way you approach the issue is where the solution is. And so, a bit like the guy on the wave in the beginning here, going out there, did he get back on his board, a surfboard, or did you stand up as a little kid and shake yourself off and just keep going forward? This is what I think we're called to do at this moment, is to move into greater loving and acceptance of where we're at with what's going on, to be patient and to breathe and to be grateful for, and then to look around and see the beauty that we've got here. There's so much going on that it's easy to feel like we're being controlled, where reality is we have the upper hand. From my perspective, we have the ability to make those choices that empower me, even though I can't go outside, even though I have to make a phone call and get approval. So what can I do differently? What can I do that will create that place of harmony and balance and acceptance and ownership?
So you, yes, so you're talking a lot about moving into acceptance.
Yeah.
Do you have any tips, any suggestion how to do this, how to surrender, how to?
Well, I how to surrender. You know, we say surrender, and you know that's can sometimes be easier said than done. So, you know, what are you willing to give up? What are you willing to put on the side? What are you willing to look at that's not serving you in this moment, you or me or people on this call? What is it that gets in the way of us having happiness, of being more joy filled and more accepting? We've got to identify what that is and be willing to give it up, to put it on hold, to put it on the back burner, so that we can move into greater acceptance. But if we want to hang on to that and hang on to it and hang on to it because we're right, that's not going to help us move into the place where we want to be. We're going to be stuck in that. There's something about, you know, the need for us to be right, to got this all together. I'm control of this. Well, these uncertain times gives us an opportunity to carefully look at that and to reevaluate, is that actually true? And then to surrender, to let go, but look at what it is that will support you through the time. Let me ask you a question, Clementine. When you look at your daughter's beautiful smiley face and you look into her eyes, what do you see?
What do I see?
What do you see? What do you experience when you look
Uh,
into her eyes?
Joy, happiness,
Right.
uh, love.
Yeah. How simple is that? You have the ability to look at things with a different perspective. When you see the beauty of the child in front of you, when you look out the window, even though you can't go out and you see a flower or a bird, do we look at and acknowledge that as something that is beautiful, that brings us back to a pause moment, that allows us to breathe instead of all this, I'm locked in, I can't go here, I can't fly, I've got no money in the bank or whatever. We're all facing all that. And time will tell, but we don't know what's going to happen. So let's just look at the beauty, like you, Clementine, look at the beauty that's right in front of you. That smile, that joy, that loving. And for those who are on this call, have a look in the mirror. Have a look in the mirror, and even for 33 days, if you do that, imagine how the acceptance and the connection with yourself may be if you were to honestly surrender to all the crap stuff that's going on and look at what's in front. I loved when I asked you that question, Clementine. You actually paused. Your face just paused. What do you see? What do you feel when you look into her eyes? And that just, from where I'm sitting, and I hope others got to see it, your face just took a whole different just twist, a little change, because that was reflecting in the face that I was seeing on my camera here. So thank you for demonstrating that. It can be that easy, but do we want to hold on or do we want to let go?
Yeah.
Hope that helps somebody.
Yes. Uh, so I want to ask you also a question.
Sure.
So I know I need to surrender for this also probably, but uh, I keep thinking about my job, what would be my job tomorrow, and what's going to happen. And today I was talking with one. She's a manager of mine, and she's also a friend, and she was telling me that they don't know what's going to happen after with the hotel. So it's a hotel that I'm collaborating with it, and so I'm having all of this question, about what's going to happen afterwards, and that's worrying me. So how can I move to acceptance? How can I move to a place? What can I think? Any suggestion you have about
Yeah,
this?
well, where do you want to put your energy? Where do you want to put your focus? What choices do you want to make? The reality is the world's going to be a different place. The world's going to look different. We could speculate and spend 10 hours on this call talking about what might, could, should happen, but we don't know because this is changing so fast. And I'm like you. We're all stood down. We're all on furlough. How do I pay for my health insurance? How do I pay for the electricity over? Is my job going to be back there after? We don't know. But again, the focus is on what is in front of us right now, what is with us right now. Instead of going off and making this whirlwind of the what ifs, because really, what's that going to support? How's that going to support you? Because we just don't know. You don't know. I don't know. And again, the way we approach what's going on is really the key to moving through this. Do we want to go into that whirligig and trying to work out what the world's going to be like? Or are we just going to be with what is right in front of us in this moment? How best can we get through that? How can I love my wife more today than I did yesterday? How can I be grateful for the roof over my head? How can I help my neighbor, like I said, putting that little note under the door? How can I connect in with a community of people? And I would suggest like-minded souls here on this call with big hearts. And uncertainty is very present for us all. So, what are the choices that we can make? What are those that support us? How do we own those? Do I want to spiral down? Do I want to worry about the future? Good luck on it. Good luck on it. To me, that's a way to not use my precious life energy with carefulness, because I'm a lot older than you, and I want to be precious with how I'm looking to the future, knowing that the world is going to be in a different place when all this is through, and situations and employment and a whole lot of things may look different, and you know, accept that that's going to be. But then catch yourself when you're running off into the, what is it? Fear, fantasies, expectations appearing real. Fear. We create that fear because we keep talking about it. We keep making it big. It's like that fish I caught with my dad once, and it was this big, but by the time I got home, it was this big. And by the time I got to school the next day, it was this big. And then at the end of the experience, oh, that fish was so big. We make it bigger and we empower it to make it bigger than what it actually is. So careful for all of us not to get caught up in making it more bigger, more dramatic, more whatever it is, and then just pause and look in front what's here and make decisions based on what is actually happening.
So I have Baba Ashwak who is asking, how can we stay positive?
It's a choice. And now, yeah, okay, smart ass I am saying that's the answer. Yes, it becomes a choice. Find a way that works for you. We're always going to have that choice on which way we want to go. Okay. Now, I brought these down because when I was talking to your husband the other day, I have this little thing in my life. And for those of you on this that perhaps know me, I love socks. I have the most outrageous group of socks. These are actually from Australia when I was down there in January. So a simple way for me is when I get up in the morning and I get dressed to go off to work, or if I get dressed to come down to my new at-home restricted work, I have a choice to put on the black socks and be totally boring, or I have the opportunity to put on my good Australian sock. And so when I'm on my knee and I'm putting my socks on, I find myself with a smile on my face. I find myself shifting from to, oh, this is fun, and I get to choose. I have hundreds of them. And a simple little thing that can change your state, that can alter where your thoughts are, for me, makes a difference. So find something that works for you just to bring you positive, and then find something else. Find something else again. Be grateful in that level of acceptance and gratitude that we have for where we are right now. You know, there's a lot of people who are less fortunate than us at the moment. And so let's do what we can to support them remotely, but then also acknowledge where we are and how we're walking through these uncertain times. Find something that lifts you. Piece of music, like I said, stand in front of the mirror. Be joyful. You get to decide. That's the empowering piece. That's the owning piece. You own it. Don't rely on somebody else to do it. You take dominion. You take it on. You find what it is. And then when you master that, find something else and add to it. Imagine doing that for 33 consecutive days. The ability to change. Look, see, you smile when I said that. That's that's how simple it can be. But we as human beings, I think, at times like to make it as hard as we possibly can. I have a belief that we don't have to go down there to be lifted up, because we're all intelligent human beings. We're all adults in this world doing the best we can. And so from that place of acceptance, lift up instead of going down. Lift up. You lift me up. You raise me up. I hope that's some help.
Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara.
So another question is, how can we explain to our children the situation today? How can the best we, they every day they asking me they want to go to the sea, or the little one, she put the googles and and they want to go to the park. How can we explain them?
That's a great question, and it's a pretty hard one to answer, isn't it? But be honest with them. Be honest with them, to tell them what's going on, so that the little ones who are little ones today, who have the ability to be our future leaders, and can be in a place where they can use this as a reference point to how to look after the next generation. Okay, that's long-term stuff, but I think as parents and as adults, that we are honest with them. This is what's going on. Not to put fear into them, but we are having to walk through this together. And it takes mummy and daddy to be home with you. It takes Uncle Dale to give you a call every day. And there'll be a day when we can put our goggles on, or how about we fill up the bath and put your goggles on and let's go fishing in the bath? Oops. I think we need to be honest without the fear. I feel that we're going to be better served with facts and information, not to overwhelm them, but to really give them an awareness of why mummy and daddy at home, why we don't have, why we're turning off the lights to save a little bit of energy, or why we're not going out in the car, or why whatever it is, so that they know. Because we need to be honest, and then to love them if they're in fear, to hold them and to love them. I don't know about you, but there's nothing greater as a little child that to be held and taken care of and your back rubbed. Excuse me, I've got a tear. And to just told by mum or dad that everything will all be all right. We'll get through this. But be honest. Let them have the experience.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that helps.
Yes, thank you, Dale.
So, Milena, I love you too. Oh, look.
Yeah, you've got a lot. Love you, Dale. Thank you.
I want to show you something that sits down by my desk, and not my dog. Oh, it's my pillow. Now, this is a big heart pillow. IKEA Selim. I've had this for years and years and years. It's been to many places around the world. And you can probably get this home delivered from your local IKEA store. This is a great comfort when I'm feeling like I'm on my own, when I'm feeling like something just needs to be loved and there's nobody here. I can love on myself. I know that's the cheesiest thing for an old fellow to be talking about, but I've worked with kids long enough. I do a lot of youth work here in Greensboro, and this is just another level of comfort. Find things that are creating to be with your young ones so that they can be so they can know and experience your genuine loving and care for them. This always sits by my desk too.
So I have Lucy Markowska who is asking, Dale, do you have affirmation for these days of crisis? Which one to use?
Do I have an affirmation?
Yes.
I probably do, but that's my affirmation. What I would suggest is create one for yourself, because that's owning your affirmation. I don't want to put words into your mouth. I have a number of affirmations, but the one that I'm using is has been with me a number of years, and it's very simple. And it goes, I'm standing tall in my heart.
Mm-hmm.
I'm standing tall in my heart. That to me is the most empowering affirmation I've ever had, that is just rich in what that provides. Yes, it's short, because then, as I say it, I get to open up to all the different nooks and crannies and all the bits and pieces that I want to encompass as I stand tall. What does I stand tall in my heart mean? Let me tell you, give you some ideas. That's owning my choices. Standing tall in my heart, that is me accepting what's going on. Standing tall in my heart, for me, I surrender to what is in my heart, which I know is loving. Not always, but I know it's there. And so find your affirmation. It doesn't have to be a long-winded story. It can be as simple for, I'm grateful for this day. Remember, I showed you this on my wife. I am grateful for this day. That's number one in her daily questions. I'm grateful for this day. I'm grateful. Isn't that enough? Isn't that a great launching pad for if you get triggered by the lock-in or the close-in, or you can't fly here or whatever? I am grateful. What am I grateful for today? I hope that helps there. I know this
Yes.
person.
Thank you, Dale. So, so I have
Hey,
Christina who is asking.
Christina.
So she said, "Dear Dale, I have interesting situation. I'm pregnant 7 months, and I need to deliver my baby boy in this strange and uncertain time. So I need an extra dose of calmness and trust. Any suggestion for future moms?"
Keep asking for that calmness and trust. First off, I'm so excited for you. So excited. 7 months, we don't know where it's going to be. But let me just be a little bold here, because I'm taking some liberties today. Christina, you have all the tools and the gifts given to you that you have taken, claimed, and encompassed in who you are. This is an exciting time to use those in the fullness, to wrap that little child who is forming inside of you with that loving light, that wisdom of the motherhood, the loving of the parents, and for you to stay calm and to trust. I love the word trust. For those of you who've been with me, trust, Trust. What does it have in the middle? You. Trust you. Trust you. Trust that's going on. And then if you find yourself moving into that fear, think about that little one. We don't know where the world's going to be in 7 months. We don't know. This could be over in 2 months, 2 weeks, 7 months, 7 years. We don't know. But with the loving and the focus and the energy of light that you're giving that precious little one, to me, that's a gift that's beyond anything that I can suggest, beyond what I can offer. But parents have a responsibility as they do walk through these challenging times, is to own what they're putting into their mind, their body, and through their spirit. because that little one is going to be evolving with this uncertain times. So, turn off the news, the blah, blah, blah. Move out of the fear, have that surrender, pause, take ownership. All the things we've talked about, just focus in on what's going on. And in Christina's situation and for other mums, you're carrying a gift from God that is just so precious. So love on it. Love it. I hope that helps you.
They say thank you very much. And Yorgi was precising that actually she's 7 months pregnant.
Yes.
Not, yeah.
Yes, 7 months. I'm pregnant. I read it. Hi, Yorgi.
So
what a great mum and dad they will be. What a great
yes.
mum and dad they will be. I want to be at that baby blessing.
So is there anything else you'd like to share with our audience before we're closing this session?
A couple of things. Let me just think here. I just want to talk about, for me, I don't have all the answers. I don't have the answers. What I've shared here is my experience and my wisdom and my knowledge that I've garnered for 100 years, and just to share them as best I can, because like everybody here, I'm also going through the challenges of these uncertain times, but I'm making choices that will hopefully, and when it's all completed, be uplifting and supporting to where we're going to go. I would also like to do a little plug here, if I may. Insight Seminars, which is an educational institution, like you said in the beginning, worldwide. When I did it back in Sydney, Australia, many moons ago, it was the one tool that changed my life through becoming aware. And that simple awareness that I touched into that training all those years ago has been the hallmark. It's been my guiding star in everything that I've done from there on out. And I'm so grateful that I had that experience. It's just rich inside of me today as what it was all those years ago. Now, for those who haven't done it, find a place one day when it becomes available and do it. And for those of us who have done it, share your loving, living in your loving. Be out there in support of those who need our help and need our guidance. Find ways to make choices and ownership that will support you. But let loving be your guide. I'm so grateful for this experience. I love all the questions. I love looking at you and your husband and helping us get this off. And I hope one day soon I get to come back on another chat and we'll talk in a whole different way. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Let's close him in. Is he hiding?
He's here. Maybe he can come to say hello.
Yeah. Come on. Thank you to you both for what you're creating here. This is an extremely valuable tool that is just keeping us all connected. I know there's many ways to do that, but from my little humble home to your humble home and to all those people, you are walking the walk and talking the talk of the candle lighting celebration of Insight One. You are reaching out to us all and lighting that candle of hope, that candle of loving, that candle of we're in this together. And I'm so grateful for you doing this. And God bless you both. And we'll get through this.
Yes, we'll get through this. Thank you, David.
Okay. Love you all. I'm going to love and leave you.
Thank you very much, Dale. Thank you for all of you to watching, and hope to see you for the next one. You have a link if you want to subscribe for the newsletter, so you can know about the upcoming events that we are preparing. So thank you all.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.